Hey guys, today I'm ridiculously excited. Jeremy's Z10 has come in and he has fully padded it. As you can see, he's been learning. While I was in Taiwan, he was able to get himself a good 10-foot ride, so he's making progress. I'm going to check this out for me and for him, put it through its paces as I build confidence on it. I'm going to try pushing it up and down the hills and what have you. I'm wearing full pads today because I don't know what this wheel does, and because I've been told they have a 20% failure rate within the first 50 miles or so from the solder joints on the motherboard melting, especially going down hills or up hills. So I'm hoping this lives up to the hype. Really am ridiculously excited. I mean, look at that wheel. Holy smokes. Let me grab the M10 for comparison here, right? Get in here and have a nice close shot for you guys to see. This is what we're talking about. Big fat wheel in terms of a difference, right? 14 inches versus 18 inches, certainly, but 4.1 versus what, 2? Treaded, tubeless, big old heavy motorcycle tire. Tubed, very light, very bouncy. The shape of it, pretty similar. I think you can kind of see beautiful curve. And a reasonable curve. So let's find out what this puppy does. I'll suit up the rest of the way and bring you along. Before I forget, I wanted to go over some of the settings on the Ninebot app so you know what I'm reviewing with. Rider weight today was 217 and a half pounds without gear, naked. This one is still limited, so it's got the lock on it, which they say is disabled after you've ridden a kilometer, so it doesn't even have a kilometer on it yet. In terms of settings, we are looking at firmware 1.0, checking for firmware updates. It says there's none available, which is weird because in the forums it seems like people have updated firmware. So not quite sure what that's about, but it is 1.0 here in the US. Right, we are April 25th, 2019. The battery is at a 95% right now. Under riding, we're in limited mode, 7.0. Posture sensor calibration. Vehicle needs to be locked before starting the calibration. Lock now. Sure, let's do it. Vehicle in the steady upright during the calibration will take about 3 seconds. The vehicle will beep upon completing. Alright, so steady upright. Continue. Alright, so I pressed it and it actually corrected itself a little bit, which is interesting. It was tilted back, it's now tilted just a little bit forward. Assisted braking is off, rider feeling is set to 0. It says if the vehicle steals out of market after turning, you can try calibrating it to solve. Alert 1, 2, and 3 are off. We're going to turn alert 3 on. Speed 30 kilometers per hour, sure, why not? Done. Those are the settings. Here we go. Alrighty, we're on the hill, we're ready to start. I'm glad that it's not at a full charge, this way I don't have to worry about regenerative braking, kind of tilting it and what have you. Here goes nothing. Oh my gosh. Now, to be fair, I haven't been on an ECU in about a week, a little more than that because I've been traveling. I was in Taipei for a bunch of hours. Wow, cornering on this is very different. I knew it would be, but I didn't know it would be like this different. And that's kind of a stupid thing to say, right? Because I've been talking about it for a long time. So let me flip the camera around and show you what my legs are doing so you can see what I mean by the quarter meter. So first thing to observe is it is super steady as a platform. These pedals are not dipping at all. They're not moving. Gotway in the turns always dips down. These do not at all. I am not used to having an EUC bang my calves. Partly because this one is so thick, that's what's happening. But partly it's also because I'm putting pressure on it as I try to turn. That's a very different experience for me now than what it was. I'm also not sure that I've correctly positioned my feet on these pedals, which are a different size, obviously, than I'm used to. Now that being said, this is a really smooth ride. It's really enjoyable to turn on at slow speeds. I really wish that I had another 18-inch wheel to kind of compare this to side by side. I will be comparing this to the MCM. And I know it's going to feel much, much different because that was more like a tightrope, if you will. Just feels really solid and stable. That's the really first kind of observations. Now I'm going to put the camera away and concentrate on riding this a little bit and continue to gather my thoughts. It's kind of a stupid observation, but in order to be able to set it up on its side like that, I had to turn it off. I couldn't lift it up with the sensor handle and then put it down and do it. I'm used to, with a switch, being able to do that on other modern ECUs. So it was tilting back and giving me some sort of an alarm. I don't know quite what that alarm was, but there was definitely an alarm there. And it was definitely tilting back. And oh, it thought I picked it up and then it adjusted. Kind of strange. It might have been that I'm asking for too much power from it in its learning mode. Okay, let's see if the app tells us what that is, because that is annoying. Alright, we are connected. Remaining mileage 83 kilometers. Oh, I see, there's the lock and the unlock. Okay, sure. That's for alright, I think limited mode is now off. Gonna see if I can cause it to trigger again and what happens with the warning. Alright, I think I might have had it in lock mode, and that might have been the alarm, like someone's wheeling off with your wheel kind of thing or something. I'll have to do some research to see if that's what happens when you press the button a certain number of times or a certain number of ways. I probably should have read the instruction manual on this. That's my bad. You can see the sensor's working. It does click when it locks. That's what I meant by trying to disengage it to put it down. Oh, maybe not. So the lights are blinking red here. It doesn't like what I just did, but it did work. And now we are trying to level again, and it has leveled, and we're back to full. Good enough. Nice. Nice. All right, we're going to try the first gentle hill in my area. Let's see how this does. I know it beeps, so that's good. Speakers are working. Not expecting any problems on this hill, but one never knows, right? Okay, so far so good. People said that it had problems braking or what have you. I don't experience that. There's no wobble or any of that nonsense. Gonna go up the hill a little faster this time. Still on the gentle hill. And then I'll take it around the neighborhood on the flat. See what we can do for speed. It's different. It's heavy. It's solid. It's a different riding experience. Don't know if it's good or bad yet. It's gonna take me a while to collect my thoughts on this one, folks. There's the wobble. That wobble, I'm pretty sure, was my legs and me being nervous, not the not sure why the GoPro turned off there. I'm pretty sure that was rider, not the tire. What have you. All right, off we go. I should have brought the other camera probably, huh? Sorry you're looking at me so much. As you can probably tell from the recording, aside from wind noise you're getting, which I apologize, I'm sure, it's really, really quiet. The motor hum is beautiful on this. It's not a high-pitched whine at all. It's damn near silent except for the noise of the tire on the pavement. Really pleasant there. I don't know what the inflation is on this tire. I should have checked that. I'm just used it at default. I'm told that inflation really matters a lot on this. So my bad on that. On the next ride I will check the tire pressure and fill it up, and we'll see if we can play with it from there. But as it was delivered to me, very nice. Very nice. There is a bit of a growl when you ask it for power, like kind of a rubbing on the bearings or something, which is interesting. It's not unpleasant, but it is there. All right, let's see how we do on the bigger hill. This should be fun. Pretty damn good. It didn't haul ass up like 20 miles an hour like the MCM5, but it didn't lack for power, and probably I could have asked it for more. Again, first ride on this, not really going crazy. Let's check the steeper part now. All right, that is about where everything conks out. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this part of the hill is crazy steep. Steep enough that I'm not going to start on it. We're going to walk it down a little bit here, because again, first ride, not mine. Don't want to screw this up too bad. This is why we're also using the cheaper camera, by the way. I didn't want to have a fall and break the lens on the other one. I should also point out, in case you didn't figure it out, this hill is the one that I guess the nosedive on the one wheel going up. So if you're following along the videos in sequential order, there you go. No shake, no shimmy going down the hill like on the previous time, because I know for sure it was my tire, my error. Probably started from being nervous and probably from hitting a bump as well. This tire is certainly a lot more solid than the tubeless, and so I'm feeling the road in a different way, which isn't unpleasant. It connects me to the road. It's kind of interesting. Not having ridden for a week, I'm going to say that I'm starting to get some foot fatigue already. It's amazing how quickly that comes back. Yeah, this does encourage my posture to be bent knees more than the other ones, because there are those bumps coming through, being translated. Really nice. Really nice in the cornering. I don't know how sharp I can get, but wow, it feels... That's fun. That's fun. That's fun. That's fun. That's fun. All right, once more around the neighborhood. Let's see if I lower this down. Oh, there's a speed alarm. Hopefully that's probably the one I set, maybe. We'll see what happens. It's not annoying. It just surprised me. I guess that means I'm getting comfortable. All right, that is good enough for the first ride. Initial thoughts, I like it. It's a lot more stable than any other EUC in terms of that wanting to stay kind of vertical and on track. It's not as nimble as I'm used to yet. I feel like it might be there once I get used to the peculiarity of balancing on it a little differently, right? So it's going to take a lot more miles, but you know what? I'm enjoying it already. Probably figured that from the smile out of my face, which you can't see. Let me turn this off. Really pleasantly surprised. Don't know about the rest of it yet, but pleasantly surprised so far. That's what I would say. Needs more back-to-back testing with the other ones. It's a different beast, and I don't know if it's enough of a different beast to warrant the high price tag. Maybe. Before I forget to log that ride, here's this. On it. Looks like it was 5.7 kilometers. Or that may be the total mileage on this one now. I don't know which. 73.6 miles remaining. I don't think it shows me anything else useful, sadly. We're on ride number 2 in the afternoon. I brought my music with me this time. First thought that came to mind is this thing really needs grip tape. The pedals as they are just rubber, and it really needs grip tape. So, all right, guys. So we're still on the second ride. I decided to check the air pressure, and I grabbed out my trusty little M10 extension, and this is how you put it in. The problem is, of course, it doesn't fit. So I'm sincerely hoping, I don't know if you can see inside of there, there's a little tiny access to. It looks like a customized kind of wheel pump or tube or something. Not a standard one, at least not standard to fit this. So I'll try to figure out what's going on there, but that's a pain in the ass. All right, Jeremy, good thing you padded this. Just had my first tumble on it. Well, technically I ran off of it and it kept going. As you can see, the padding didn't take any damage at all. I over cornered, and there's no grip tape on this, and my foot slid off. As I was really throwing my weight into it, trying to find out where the sweet spot was. You really have to throw your weight exaggerated on this, much more than any other wheel. In fact, that tire, right, which we're after, I guess. But it's it'll be interesting switching back to the other one for that reason. But yeah. So this beast thing, it's a real joy to turn at low speeds. It's very, very nimble. Very, very nimble at low speeds. Much better than I remember any of the old heavy 18-inch wheels being. That being said, once you start to get up above a few miles an hour, you gotta really throw your body left and right. And I'm missing that grip tape, because now, having had my foot slide off of it, I don't know that I have the confidence to really be doing that. So there's kind of an interesting sweet spot at the low speeds and maybe at the higher speeds. And I'm not sure where the in-between is just yet. Also could be because I can't figure out the tire pressure and adjust it. But this beast drives different. It drives different. We knew that. But I'm trying to figure out how to convey to you the difference. Because it really does. It really, really does. I'll try to find the words, man. I'll try to find the words. Alright, so I was doing a slow turn. A car started coming down the road fast. I panicked just a little bit. I had to fight this thing. Wait for the wind to stop. Didn't go down or anything like that, but really had to fight it. It's the kind of wheel that if you don't put authority into what you're doing, like real authority, it's going to do what it wants to do. And that makes it different. It makes it very different. It's a big, heavy, stable wheel that wants to go straight. And if you're wanting it to turn, it will turn for you. It'll turn really, really well, really, really short distances and what have you. But you can't screw around. You gotta mean what you're doing. Right? It's not gonna read your mind like an M10-3 or you know, be a very light touch like some of the other wheels. This is very much you gotta seriously want to do what you want to do in terms of turning. And just a heads up for people learning, what have you. It's not a bad thing, but for someone learning, good luck. I guess if you stiffen up and you panic, you're gonna keep going, or you're gonna have to dismount and trash, you know. But experienced riders, I guess, you know, even like myself, you get a moment of panic or two on this thing. It's a fight you. And it could just be because it's a new wheel and I'm still getting used to it. What I've decided to do is just the same figure eights I do for practice on any new, you know, device when I'm learning, over and over again. The stops and the starts. You got to stick to those basics and really get them in there to build that confidence up. Because, like I said, there's not a lot of forgive here. I was reminded of a video of Marty on this wheel cruising out at the forest, I guess, and he had this, you know, fly pole mounted with the camera following him, and he goes to take a corner and he doesn't make it. He just turns too wide and ends up in the bushes. And people are like, would you have made that in the other wheels? And I don't think he ever answered it, but I could see why that happened. You know, I could absolutely see why that happened. You know, if the dirt is loose and you don't really want to commit to the weight shift and whatever else, you know, this wheel likes to stay upright. And It's certainly worse at high speeds, but at low speeds it still happens, which makes it a joy for really slow maneuvering. But also means you gotta really know what you're doing, really want to do it. This is going to be a very polarizing wheel. I mean, I'm not repeating anything that you don't already know, but people either going to love this wheel or hate this wheel, and the people who love this wheel are going to be like rabid cult followers of loving this wheel. And then there's going to be people who are like, I don't understand what's wrong with you. I'm enjoying the wheel so far. I'm not sure I'm in the rabid cult following yet. We'll see what happens later in the weekend. But it's fun. And I'm gonna say, you know, for people coming from a one wheel who love carving, this is a fun wheel to carve on. I mean, all the EUCs are fun to carve on, but this one is particularly fun to carve on at a good speed, because it is so damn physical, like the one wheel, and it has a very similar rowdy ride to the one wheel as well. I can't believe I'm drawing these parallels, but I guess that's what it is, man. So, net, and I'm not saying this just because you loaned it to me, Jeremy. I think you fucking love this wheel. Just love this wheel. I think you picked the right wheel for you. Now the question in my mind will also be, is this the right wheel for me going forward, or is it the KS16X? I got to spend a lot more time with this to figure that out. So this wheel is a lot more exercise than other wheels. That's worth pointing out. I don't remember if I said that anywhere else in the videos, but I can feel quite a bit of difference in you know, 20 minutes of riding this thing around compared to my usual. It's a different set of muscles. I'm going farther in terms of my extension. My feet are hurting, but I think that's because I haven't ridden in, you know, 8 days or 9 days, and I'm putting a lot of time in on this, and the pedals are at a different angle than normal, and also I'm having to put more pressure on them to make this thing go left and right, and the like of it. It steers, you have to steer it differently at low speeds than you do at high speeds. And I think that's going to be an impediment for learning for beginners who are looking at this wheel. I could see where people who bought it and didn't know how to ride it, or were lightweight riders or other kinds of things, would be pretty unhappy with this. But for heavier riders, I think especially, this is a really interesting workout. A lot of fun. Even medium rate riders too. It's going to be a different experience entirely. Neat. Different. Neat. All right, I'm worn out. I'm taking it home because the legs are starting to be spaghetti-like from the exercise. I'm realizing that something I meant to say on camera and didn't when I picked it up from Jeremy, and I saw the way he had it all padded up with this brown baby bumper unicycle tape. Was I was glad that he did that, because this is a, you know, artistically beautiful wheel, and the fact that he padded it and made it ugly helps to make the interaction with it more clinical, because, you know, when you see the tire and what have you, and the art, you know, the wheel is just plain, it's gorgeous, right? Especially compared to everything else out there, but it helps when it's less beautiful. It's got some uglies to it, but it's got a lot of really good things to it too. On the whole, end of day one, I'm rating it a plus. It's on the plus side for me, not the minus side. We'll see how we keep going and learning on it. All the usual complaints people give. You can't read the batteries in strong daylight looking down on it. The trolley is a little weak. I find it intuitive to use, but it does slide up and down without locking, which is a little annoying. You know, I'm getting used to the growling. It does growl when it breaks as well. It's not very stable when you lay it down. it talks back with an attitude. The button is really easy to turn on and off. Too easy, in fact. But it's got that tire.